hands to heaven. Just won't give me reasons at all. Tell me lies. She's just one of love's pretenders. Say a little prayer. Say a little prayer.
They had the #2 song in America, millions of fans, a sound so smooth it can melt hearts at 50 paces. Then Breathe just stopped breathing. No warning, no goodbye tour, just silence. The band that gave us Hands to Heaven vanished like smoke. And the real reason why will shock you.
Raise your hands to heaven.
Let's rewind to 1984, London. 4 musicians who should have never worked together somehow created magic. David Glasper, born January 4th, 1965 in Cardigan, Wales, had a voice that could stop traffic. Marcus Lillington, born February 28th, 1967 in Bideford, brought guitar skills that made grown men cry. Ian Spike Spice, born September 18th, 1966 in Chiswick, West London, kept the rhythm tighter than a drum. And Michael Delahunty on bass completed the sound that would change everything. They called themselves Breathe, and for 3 years, absolutely nobody cared. Rejection after rejection.
When we came together, we had no master plan in terms of career or in terms of style of music because we were so young. I was 18. The other guys were 2 years younger than myself, like 50.
Every major UK label passed on them. Too jazzy for pop, too pop for jazz, they said.
It was so far apart, our musical tastes. It was just this confusion of different styles. I mean, Marcus was into things like Led Zepp. I was into things like the Eagles. We had all these different kind of styles, which at first, it was just like bad mixture of all different influences.
The band rehearsed in cramped London basements, playing to crowds of maybe 20 people on good nights, wondering if they'd wasted their lives chasing an impossible dream.
We played around our local area quite a lot, and that helped formulate or create some kind of style.
Then America called. Here's the twist nobody expected. Their debut album, All That Jazz, dropped in the United States in 1987 before it even touched British soil. A British band had to conquer America first to get any respect back home.
It's only really on this album that influences have started to come through and I felt a direction as well.
The irony was delicious, but it worked. Hands to Heaven hit American radio and exploded like a supernova. The song climbed to #2 on the Billboard Hot 100, blocked from the top spot only by George Michael's Faith. Back in the UK, it reached #4. Suddenly, the band nobody wanted became the band everybody needed. But success, as they'd soon learn, comes with a price tag written in blood. Their follow-up single, How Can I Fall, crashed into the top 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and dominated the adult contemporary chart at #1.
How can I fall?
American teenagers bought their cassettes by the millions. Radio stations couldn't stop playing them.
How can I fall?
Yet, back home in Britain, the song barely limped to #48. The British press labeled them too American, while American fans crowned them the next big thing. Breathe was trapped between 2 worlds, and the pressure was building like a volcano ready to erupt. Tour after tour,
Raise your hands to heaven.
interview after interview, the same questions grinding them down like sandpaper on skin. Why are you bigger in America? What's it like being rejected by your own country? They smiled for the cameras, said all the right things, but backstage, the cracks were spreading. Then, mid-1988 arrived and everything shattered. Michael Delahunty was fired. Not asked to leave, not a mutual parting. Fired. David Glasper later stated coldly that the decision had been made on purely musical terms.
Halfway through writing with Marcus, I wanted to get a different character. I wasn't getting that writing with Marcus, so I went to work with Egg.
But industry insiders whispered about screaming matches, creative battles, and egos colliding like freight trains in the night. Delahunty had been there from day one, grinding through the rejection years, and now he was gone just as success arrived. The original magic that sparked All That Jazz began dying the moment Delahunty walked out that door. But the hits kept coming, and not the musical kind. Manager Carl Adams, the man who'd steered them through breakthrough success, also departed. Losing your bassist is painful. Losing the person navigating your career while you're riding a tidal wave of fame, that's catastrophic. They brought in Phil Harrison on bass, but he was a hired gun, not family. The brotherhood was broken.
Still, they were Breathe. They'd sold millions. They'd conquered the charts. Surely they could do it again. They were wrong. Dead wrong. In 1990, Peace of Mind hit stores, and the silence was deafening. Critics who'd praised their debut now sharpened their knives. Derivative, uninspired, a band chasing its own shadow. The songs that once felt effortless now sounded forced, mechanical, like a beautiful machine with its soul ripped out. American radio stations that had championed them now barely touched the new material. But the real killer wasn't the critics. It wasn't even the disappointing sales. Their record label got acquired. Just as Peace of Mind was released, new executives swept in with new priorities and new artists to promote. Breathe went from priority act to forgotten relic overnight. Phone calls went unreturned. The promotional budget vanished like morning mist. Marketing campaigns were canceled. The label that had believed in them was gone, replaced by businessmen who saw them as yesterday's news. Without label support, even brilliant albums die in obscurity. Peace of Mind never stood a chance. David Glasper later admitted they'd lost their fire. The hunger that fueled their debut, that desperation to prove everyone wrong, had evaporated. Promoting Peace of Mind felt like dragging dead weight uphill. Why fight for an album when your own label won't? Why tour to empty venues? Why pretend the magic still existed when everyone could see it was gone? The band members looked at each other across recording studios and tour buses and saw strangers. The friendship, the shared dream that brought them together in 1984 had been consumed by fame's cruel machinery. They'd achieved everything they wanted and discovered it wasn't enough to hold them together. By late 1990, Breathe was finished. No dramatic farewell, no final single, no goodbye tour. They just stopped. Stopped recording, stopped performing, stopped being Breathe. The band that gave the world Hands to Heaven simply vanished into thin air. David Glasper tried launching a solo career, but the industry had moved on.
The reason for anything related to pertaining to the music that I make and the music that I make with others will be posted. I believe that's the terminology on this website.
Marcus Lillington retreated from music entirely, wounded by how quickly success had turned to ashes. And Spike Spice continued making music, but the spotlight that once illuminated them had shifted to grunge, to alternative rock, to sounds that made their sophisticated pop seem ancient. Then tragedy struck with the force of a sledgehammer. On September 24, 2000, Ian Spike Spice died in Thailand at just 34 years old. Rumors swirled about a car accident, though the official cause was never disclosed. His body was cremated and a piece of Breathe's history disappeared forever. The drummer who'd been there through the highest highs and lowest lows was silenced, and any hope of a reunion died with him. Years later, an odd footnote emerged. Radiohead's breakthrough hit, Creep, faced copyright disputes over allegedly using a chord progression similar to The Air That I Breathe. Not written by Breathe,
but by Albert Hammond and Mike Hazelwood.
All I need is the air that I breathe.
Still, the confusion showed how Breathe's era of sophisticated pop had influenced even the alternative rock revolution that replaced them. Looking back, Breathe's destruction was death by 1,000 cuts. Michael Delahunty's firing, Carl Adams' departure, the label acquisition that orphaned them, the sophomore album that couldn't recapture their debut's lightning, the loss of passion that comes when dreams become obligations. Each wound alone might have been survivable. Together, they were fatal. What haunts Breathe's story is how common it is. The music industry is a graveyard of bands who had everything: talent,
hits, devoted fans, and still couldn't survive. Chart success doesn't guarantee longevity. Hit singles can't protect you from corporate politics. Fame can't repair broken relationships or reignite extinguished passion. Breathe gave us Hands to Heaven, a song that still soundtracks weddings and quiet moments when people need to remember love exists. They gave us How Can I Fall, which streams millions of times annually, proving some melodies transcend their era. They proved a British band could conquer America through pure talent and sophisticated songwriting, but they also revealed something darker. The music business chews up artists and spits out bones. Creative partnerships are fragile as glass, easily shattered by pressure and disappointment. Sometimes the hardest thing about reaching the top is realizing you can't stay there. The surviving members of Breathe are scattered now, their brief moment of glory a fading memory for most of the world. But their music remains, frozen in time like insects in amber, a testament to what they achieved before everything collapsed. When Hands to Heaven plays, you can still hear the hope, the hunger, the belief that this band was destined for greatness. They were right. They reached greatness. They just couldn't hold on to it.
I mean, Hammersmith Odeon is, as far as we're concerned, the venue. You know, when we've played there, it's like our dream come true. It's a small theatre that's housed, you know, live performance gigs for so many years. And I can remember the first night we played there as a support act. I was nervous from 11 o'clock that morning before I got on stage. We opened up and we're halfway through the first song, and I trod on my microphone lead and disconnected it. And there I was, like, trying to reconnect this microphone, going, you know, like trying to put it in its socket and dying of embarrassment. And I managed to overcome that. And I did the same thing again about 2 songs later on. And they are probably 2 of the most embarrassing moments of my life.
The tragedy of Breathe isn't that they broke up. It's that they had no choice. The industry, the pressure, the loss of what made them special, it left them with nothing but endings. They could either stop as Breathe or watch themselves become something unrecognizable, a tribute band to their own past, playing county fairs and nostalgia circuits, wondering where the dream died. They chose to let go, and maybe that was the bravest decision they could make. Better to be remembered for Hands to Heaven at its peak than fade slowly into irrelevance, becoming that band people vaguely remember from the 80s, the one with that one song, what was it called again? So next time those opening piano notes cascade through your speakers, those soaring vocals lift your heart, that perfect late 80s production transports you to another era. Remember this: you're hearing a band that burned bright and fast, that reached for heaven and touched it, however briefly, before gravity pulled them back to earth. That's the real story of why Breathe broke up, not with a bang, but with a whisper, like breath itself. Here one moment, gone the next, leaving only echoes and what ifs. And sometimes the echoes are all we get to keep.